I don't have anything against social media, but it can take a long time to build. Here's what you can do now to find illustration work. Hello everyone! Welcome to Our Business with Ness. I'm Ness and I'm a professional illustrator. In this video, I will tell you about some great methods to find illustration work. Methods other than social media. It's thanks to these methods that I was able to go full-time, and I really want that for you too. So first, why do I say no to social media in this video? After all, the number one tip that we as artists hear all the time is just keep posting on Instagram and it will happen for you. Just keep posting, post more, and it will happen for you. This is bad advice because it's outdated. It used to be you could just post a static image on Instagram and wake up the next day to thousands of views. But it's not like that anymore. Instagram has become extremely saturated. Everyone and their grandmother is on it, which makes it very hard to be discovered there. Let me tell you something about Instagram. The average lifespan of a post is only 36 to 48 hours. So you spend what, 20, 30, maybe even 40 hours pouring your heart in an illustration. And after no more than 2 days, that post is already old news and no one is seeing it anymore. And something that's even more discouraging, on Instagram, only about 10% of your own followers even see your posts. That's because now everyone follows hundreds of people. There's no way that we can see everything that every one of the people we follow posts. And so the algorithm kind of filters it out to what they think you want to see, and you end up missing a whole lot of stuff. So even if you work really hard and gathered, let's say, 500 followers for your Instagram, that's very respectable, but only 10% of them, 50 people, will actually see your posts. And those sort of facts, they really kind of explain why, as a professional illustrator who's been doing this since 2015, in all of that time, I only ever got one job from Instagram. And it wasn't even a big gig like a huge book project. No, it was just a simple commission that was less than $400. $400 does not make a career. If I had only relied on Instagram for work, I wouldn't have a career right now. Especially because it's also a passive strategy. You have absolutely no control over who sees your posts or when. While it is possible, even today, to eventually build up a large following and be discovered by art directors, it can take you years to get to that point. And I don't know for you, but I wasn't willing to wait that long. So I rolled up my sleeves and I decided to reach out to clients myself. And this is how I built my entire career up to this point. To be honest, it was really scary at first. When you reach out to clients, you can be disappointed, you can be ignored, you can be rejected, and that's scary. But you can also take control of your career and get work, and that's really exciting, and it's worth all of the hardship. If you clicked on this video, then I know you're probably tired of waiting around too, and you're ready to be proactive to start your illustration career. I have 5 methods to discuss with you today that are proactive that you can try today. But first of all, if you're serious about becoming a professional illustrator and you'd like to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell. The bell sends you a notification every time I upload a new video. This way you're sure that you won't miss any of the advice. All right, let's go. Method number 1 is email. My very favorite method of reaching out to clients is simply to email them. It's fast, it's cheap, it's efficient, and reliable. First of all, you'll need to find some companies to reach out. You can use Google to find companies or publishers that you would like to work with. Or you can go shop online or in person and take note of the companies that make these products. When I was trying to get work in picture book illustration, I would often go to bookstores and take into photo all of those credits pages to see who worked on that book. And it worked really well for me to fill up my company research database with a ton of companies that I would then reach out to. You can also look at the companies that other artists are working with. You can often find this information on these artists' website or their Instagram, and that can give you a lot of ideas for what kind of companies are hiring artists. Once you have a big old list of companies, at least 40 or 50, then you can go on their websites and try to find a way to contact them. A lot of them, especially publishers or greeting card companies, actually have artist submissions guidelines on their websites. And those pages will explain exactly what they want you to send them and where to send it. So when they have something like that, it's very, very helpful, and you should follow these guidelines to the letter to make sure that you're not rude to them. If they don't have submission information, then look for a contact page or a work with us page or even an FAQ. Sometimes they can have information for artists in those pages. If you don't find a direct dedicated email for artists, it's not as good, but you can still send an email to a generic email address like an info@company.com. I have in the past gotten a lot of gigs actually just from sending an email to a generic email address like this. It can take anywhere from 3 days to 6 months to receive a reply, and sometimes you won't receive a reply at all. But that doesn't mean they're not interested. Maybe they're just not looking for anything right now, right? Maybe they're not hiring, maybe they're not buying art. Or maybe your style is not quite a good fit for what they're working on at this time. Maybe they also didn't even see your email. That can happen. That's why it's important to be persistent and follow up regularly. Don't just give up after the first email. Send another and another. At one point, they're going to answer you. Remember that emailing is a numbers game, so I suggest sending emails to as many companies as you can. I just recently did another mailing a week ago, and I sent to 38 companies this time, and I've already signed a licensing deal just from that mailing in 1 week. That's great. Method number 2 is newsletters. While emailing is my absolute favorite method, it does take a long time to do your research and send all of those emails. It usually takes me a whole 3 or 4 days to send around 50 emails, so that's a lot of time. But with a newsletter, the great thing is that you can leverage everyone who's ever responded to you, and you have a method now to contact them more easily. Whether they said they were interested in your art, or even if they said no, you can follow that up with asking them if they would like to join your mailing list. And once they're on your mailing list, you can write one email and blast it to the entire list in 1 click. So much more efficient. When I first started my email list, I started with contacting all of my past clients and everyone I was in contact with, and I was surprised just how many people said yes to joining that mailing list. All of my past clients said yes, and even the majority of art directors who had rejected me still accepted to join my mailing list. And I've since been able to convince some of them that used to be no's into yeses. When you have a mailing list like this, the next time you're in between projects, you can simply send a newsletter to your entire list in 1 click with a few of your newest illustrations and stating that you're available for work. And a lot of the time, it will get you some new work. Compared to cold emails, it also has a much higher rate of success because everyone who's on your list has said that yes, they want to be there and they are interested in your artwork. That means they want to hear from you, and so they're a lot more likely to give you work. It takes a lot less time to send a newsletter than it does to email people one by one. And what I love about this is that it builds on your previous efforts. The more people you contact and the more people who accept then to be on your mailing list in return, the less work you'll have to do in the future to reach them. The bigger your mailing list, the easier it will be to leverage your network and get work in the future. This is an incredible strategy that was a game changer for my career. Method number 3, working with an agent. An illustration agent or agency is someone who is very knowledgeable about the illustration market and has a large network of clients at their disposal. They help illustrators find work, and in exchange, they will take a commission from this illustrator's earnings. It's anywhere from 15% to 40%. And you may be thinking, whoa, that's a lot. Whoa there. I'm not giving away 40% of my earning to anyone. I'm the one that will be doing all the work. But agents do a lot of very valuable work taking care of the marketing so that you can focus more on the illustration part. They do the hard work, the marketing, so it's worth paying them fairly for it. Agents can really save you a lot of time, and time is money. Every minute that you don't spend looking for work is another minute that you can spend instead of something that you love doing, like drawing. A good agent can usually find you at least a third of all your work or even more, so it's definitely worth it. Agents also typically have access to larger clients than we illustrators can talk to by ourselves. These top 5, top 10 publishers don't have any submission guidelines. A lot of times they're very difficult to reach. Many of them only work through agents because they receive so many work all the time. Agents help them filter for quality. They know that if an agent represents them, they vouch for them, that it's quality work and that this person is professional. So many of these top clients, the one that really pay the big bucks, go through agents exclusively. So working with an agent gives you access suddenly to all these big companies like Simon & Schuster, Penguin Random House, Hobby Lobby. While the agent does take a cut out of your earnings, they're also usually able to find you work that's better paid. So sometimes it still balances itself out at the end of the day. Now, not all agents are created equal. There's some agents that are not very good, but a great agent really pays for itself and saves you a ton of hassle. I myself have worked with 2 illustration agents in the past. The first one I worked with was Beehive Illustration, and they're a great agency, but with me, it wasn't really a great fit. I stayed with them for about 8 months, and then I signed with my second agency, Astound Us. I really loved working with Astound. I stayed with them for 3 years, and they found me some of my best contracts. Eventually, after 3 years, I decided to switch from picture book illustration to licensing and surface design, and so at this point it really wasn't as good of a fit with them anymore, so we decided to part ways. But I still really enjoy thinking back to my experience with Astound. It was great working with them, and even now I am looking for a licensing agent for the next part of my career. It can be tricky getting an agent. They are very, very competitive. I'm still looking for my licensing agent, but as always, persistence is key. I keep reaching out to agents every couple months. I've had some great discussions with them, and I'm really hopeful that sometime soon in the future, I might sign with one. And the same can be true for you too. Now, I have 2 more methods to talk to you about, but before we get into that, I'd really like to know, have you gotten some illustration contracts before? And if you did, what was it and how did you get it? Was it a personal commission? Maybe it was something with a local business, or maybe a contract with a publisher that you got online. No matter what it is, tell me in the comments what it was and how you got it. I'm really dying to know. Now, method number 4, conventions and trade shows. There are many industry events where you can go and meet art directors and companies in person. The events are different for different markets. So for example, in picture book illustration, you have the Frankfurt Book Fair, the Bologna Book Fair, and you have the SCBWI conferences, for example. In surface design, I know we have big trade shows like Surtex or the Blueprint Show. These are all huge events that are attended by art directors, agents, and pretty much everyone else. So it's definitely worth to go if you can. You can meet different companies at their booths or even just walking around, walking the floor. There are often scheduled events like lectures and portfolio reviews where you can meet art directors directly. You can also network with other artists there, which can be very interesting and very helpful. This can be a very expensive method though, because we often have to travel for an event like that. That means, maybe flights, hotels, etc., to say nothing of just the price of the ticket for the event. But you do get to meet everyone that you need to talk to in person, and that gives you the opportunity to make so much more of a strong impression. Agents also go to these events so you can get a chance to meet them there. It can be an incredible opportunity to meet the right people, hand out some business cards, and make connections, and maybe even land a contract. If you got their business card, immediately after the event, contact them to follow up with them and make sure to hash out those details, maybe to work together in the future. And lastly, method number 5, start a personal project. If all else fails, if you've contacted everyone that you can think of, you tried every method that you can think of, and still nothing, no one will give you a chance, there's still something that you can try. And that's creating your own thing, because you don't need to wait around to be hired. You can create your own product or project without needing the permission from anyone. If you want to illustrate greeting card, you don't have to wait around to be hired by Hallmark. You can just send a few of your designs to a printer, and there you go, greeting cards that you can sell to local shops or maybe at a market. You want to illustrate picture books, create your own book and put it up on Amazon KDP. You want to work in comics, start your own webcomic online to showcase your skills and grow your following. It used to be that creating your own line of product was something that was incredibly difficult and costly to do, but no more. Now we have so many tools at our disposal that we can use to diminish costs and get things done. You can do crowdfunding with platforms like Kickstarter to get a budget to start your thing, or you can use print on demand so that you don't have to carry a large inventory. And of course, with the internet, you don't even need a storefront. You can start selling to anyone in the world simply with a website page or even just an Etsy shop. Creating your own personal project can be done either just for fun or with the goal of making a profit. But either way, it will help you showcase your skills, grow an audience, and maybe will lead to opportunities, because it can really help you put your name out there and attract attention from art directors. There are so many artists that have had a lot of great professional opportunities come their way just when they were out and about doing their own thing. There's no better way to show the world that you can do something than by just doing it. So if you have been trying to find illustration contracts and you can't, start today and do your own thing, and it will lead to bigger and better things. So there you go. These are 5 my favorite methods to find work that have personally worked great for me in the past. But that's not all. There are more methods still that you can try. If you want to learn about more different ways to find clients, I have a free guide for you. It's called 7 Surprising Ways to Find Clients. It's completely free, and I will leave the link to that in the description below. But that's it for me today. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help our small channel grow. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!